The Champions League is back again, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the first leg in the Champions League playoff matches. If you guys are a little bit confused with how this Champions League format works, basically the teams that finish from 9th to 24th place are now playing against each other in a playoff stage, and the people that win will advance into the round of 16, where they will meet against the teams that finish from 1st to 8th place, and the teams that are eliminated will be eliminated from the competition. With that being said, in today's video I'm going to be predicting the scorelines for each of the fixtures in the first leg of the playoff round. And if you guys agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But if you disagree with my predictions and you think there might be a few upsets here and there, remember to leave your comments down below and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. So without further ado, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first fixture, we have an all-French game between Brest and PSG. Obviously, both of these teams do play in the Liga, so we do see them play against each other very often. And in their last 20 matchups, Brest have never won. PSG have won 18 of those matches and they have drawn 2 of them. Now, to be fair, Brest did shock a lot of people in the league phase where they ended up finishing in 18th place. But earlier on in the competition, they were playing very good and they were in that top 8 for a good portion of the league phase. When on the other hand, PSG started off very poorly and they were on the brink of elimination. But obviously they did beat Man City in that game, and then they did win in their last game, putting them in 15th place. Now, in my opinion, I think Brest definitely have the quality to make it out of this playoff stage, but coming up against PSG and with their record of having never beaten PSG, I think PSG will pretty comfortably win this game 2-0. Moving on to the next match, we have Juventus against PSV. Juventus were so disappointing in the league phase, and honestly, I expected much more of them. Now, in the Serie A, yes, they haven't been the best, but defensively, they have been very good and they've only lost 1 game. But in the league phase, they were very poor, especially in the last 2 matches where they ended up drawing against Club Brugge and then they ended up losing at home against Benfica. PSV, on the other hand, have been very good in the Eredivisie, but in the Champions League, they have also been a little bit inconsistent. In my opinion, I think this will be a very close game, but I do think Juventus will just edge it, and I do think they will win this game, mainly because of some of the new signings that they brought in the winter transfer window, mainly Colomwani, who already scored 3 goals in his first 2 matches. And for that reason, I do think with the home advantage, they will beat PSV 2-1. Moving on to the next game, we have the most anticipated game in the playoff round. We have Manchester City against Real Madrid. This is the 4th Champions League in a row where we've seen Man City come up against Real Madrid. And in previous Champions League, we've seen Manchester City dominate Real Madrid, but we've also seen Real Madrid pull off some incredible comebacks against Man City. But nowadays, Man City is not looking like the team that they were back then. Obviously, a lot of people have been saying that Real Madrid have been underperforming this season, and definitely in the Champions League, they could have obviously been better. But in my opinion, I think they have a little bit too much quality for Manchester City. The one downside with Real Madrid at the moment is that they have a lot of injuries, especially in their defense, and they only have a few center backs to choose from, which are mostly second choice center backs. So for that reason, I think this will be a very high scoring game, but I'm going to predict that Real Madrid win this game 3-2. Moving on to the next match, we have Sporting against Borussia Dortmund. In my opinion, I think Sporting have been having a pretty good season so far. But since Ruben Amorim left the club, they have been struggling here and there, where we've seen them draw a couple games in the Liga Portugal, and even in the league phase, we saw them lose against RB Leipzig, who were very poor, and they also drew against Bologna, who have also been really bad. On the other hand, Borussia Dortmund were much better in the league phase. They did do very well. Now, to be honest, within the last month, they have lost a few games in the Bundesliga, but in recent matches, they have been playing much better. And for that reason, even though they are playing away, I think they're just a little bit too good for Sporting. Obviously, anything could happen and Sporting could definitely win this game, but considering that they finished in 23rd place in the league phase and in recent months, they have not been that good, I think Borussia Dortmund will win this game 2-1. Moving on to the Wednesday fixtures, the first game we got is Club Brugge against Atalanta. In the league phase, Club Brugge played very well and they exceeded expectations. When in the last match day, they almost beat Manchester City, having scored that first goal in the first half. Obviously, Man City did end up coming back and beating them, but even in some of the other matches in the league phase, Club Brugge were very good, and like I said, they were far better than expected. But on the other hand, Atalanta, in my opinion, were arguably one of the best teams in the group stage. They were very, very good. They scored so many goals. They scored 20 goals in 8 matches. They had some of the hardest fixtures out of all the other teams, having to play Liverpool, Arsenal, Barcelona. They played the top 3 teams in the league phase, and they did not do badly whatsoever. I think Atalanta have some incredible scoring ability, and if you guys saw my video where I ranked the top 5 best attacking trios so far this season, I think Atalanta's attacking trio of Ademola Lookman, Retegui, and De Ketelaere are one of the best attacking trios in Europe, and they have scored so many goals this season. Even though Club Brugge are playing at home, in my opinion, I think Atalanta have too much quality in their team, and I think they will very comfortably win this game 4-1. Moving on to the next match, we have Celtic against Bayern Munich. Both of these teams were a little bit inconsistent in the league phase, where Bayern Munich started off this Champions League campaign very, very poorly, getting losses against Aston Villa and Barcelona, but in recent matches, they have started to play much, much better. When on the other hand, Celtic started off the campaign pretty well, but in recent matches, they haven't been performing as good. Obviously, both of these teams are first place in their domestic league. Bayern Munich are first in the Bundesliga, and Celtic are first in the Scottish Premiership. And even though Celtic are playing at home in this game, in my opinion, Bayern Munich's attack is very, very good, and I think it will be really, really tough for Celtic to keep out their goals. With players like Harry Kane, Michael Olise, Musiala, Gnabry, Sane, Muller, everyone in Bayern Munich's attack is scoring goals recently, and for that reason, I just don't think Celtic will be able to keep them out. And even though they have the home advantage, I'm going to predict that Bayern Munich win this game 2-0. Moving on to the next match, we have Feyenoord against AC Milan. Obviously, Feyenoord have just lost their star striker Santiago Jimenez to AC Milan, as he did sign with them for around 30 to 40 million. And in my opinion, that was a very, very good signing by AC Milan, because so far this season, they have been very, very inconsistent, and especially in terms of their attack, there's been some games where they haven't been able to put away goals. And obviously with Alvaro Morata recently going to Galatasaray, they really needed a new striker, and in my opinion, Santiago Jimenez is the perfect player. Obviously this is a bit unfortunate for Feyenoord in this situation, because they are coming up against AC Milan, who have their former star striker. And with that loss for Feyenoord, I think that it will be much harder for them to score goals. In AC Milan's first match after the winter transfer window in the Cup against Roma, we saw them play very, very well, and we saw them sub on both Santiago Jimenez and also João Felix, and both of them assisted and scored in that match. So in my opinion, I think these players, paired up with Tammy Abraham, paired up with Rafael Leao, have really improved AC Milan's attack, and for that reason, I think they will pretty comfortably beat Feyenoord. I'm going to predict that AC Milan win this game 3-1. And finally, moving on to the last match, we have Monaco against Benfica. In the league phase, Monaco were also another French team that played much, much better than expectations, as they did finish in 17th place. But earlier on in the league phase, they were sitting pretty comfortably in that top 8 for a majority of the match days. On the other hand, Benfica didn't really start off too good, but in recent matches, we saw them perform very, very well in that game against Barcelona, where, to be honest, they probably should have won, and especially in that away fixture against Juventus, where they performed very well. In my opinion, I think this game is a toss-up, because both of these teams have been very good this season. Benfica currently sits 2nd place in the Liga Portugal, and Monaco currently sits 3rd place in the Ligue 1. But the one thing I noticed with Monaco is their goals throughout the season have been coming from so many different areas around the pitch. They don't have a striker scoring 15 goals, but they have the strikers, the wingers, the midfielders, and even the defenders all taking part in their goal tally this season. But obviously Benfica do have more experience than Monaco in these UEFA competitions. So for that reason, I think this game will end in a 2-2 draw. And that is the end of this video. Those were my predictions for the first leg in the Champions League playoff round. If you guys agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But obviously, if you disagree with my predictions and you think there may be a few upsets here and there, remember to leave your predictions in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. And obviously, if you guys did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.